On a distant world called Proxima VI, Dr. Lily Dawson brushed dust from a strange metal panel. Her breath made small clouds in the cold air as she worked. This was her 4th month on this frozen planet, and most people thought she was wasting her time. "Joe, bring the scanner over here," she called to her assistant. Joe Miller trudged through the snow, carrying equipment that cost more than what most archaeologists made in 5 years. He had followed Dr. Dawson across 3 star systems because he believed in her work, even when the scientific community didn't. "Another dead end?" he asked, handing her the scanner. Lily shook her head. "This is different. Look at these markings." The scanner hummed as it passed over the metal surface. Symbols appeared on the screen, not like any known alien language. They were simple, almost like early human writing, but no human civilization had ever reached this far into space. At least, that's what history taught. "Sam needs to see this," Joe said, already reaching for his communicator. Sam Turner, their xenobiologist, arrived 20 minutes later, red-faced from running through the snow. "This better be good," he said. "I was just about to crack open those cellular samples from the eastern ridge." Lily pointed to the metal panel, now partly cleared of ice. "What does this look like to you?" Sam knelt down, his eyes widening. "It's manufactured. Definitely not natural formation." He ran his fingers along a seam. "This is a door, Lily, or part of one." Back at their base camp that evening, the small team reviewed their findings. Lily sent images to the Galactic Archaeological Society, but the response was quick and dismissive. "Natural metallic formations," read the message from Dr. Williams, head of the society. "Consistent with the known geological processes on ice planets. I would suggest focusing your remaining grant money on sites with actual potential, Dr. Dawson." Lily threw her tablet onto her bunk. They didn't even look at the data properly. "They never do," Sam said, warming his hands on a cup of coffee. "Remember when you found those artifacts on Kepler 22 bits? They said those were mineral deposits too." Joe looked up from his computer. "And now those mineral deposits are in the Central Museum as proof of the Verderi civilization." They decided to continue without official support. For 3 weeks, they worked to clear the ice and dust from what was indeed a massive door. Using their limited equipment, they managed to pry it open just enough to slip inside. The air was stale but breathable. Their lights revealed a long corridor with smooth walls made of material similar to the door. "This is huge," Sam whispered, his voice echoing. "This place was built by someone." They followed the corridor, which sloped downward. The further they went, the more complex the structure became. They passed rooms with empty brackets that might once have held computers or machines. "This is a facility of some kind," Lily said, "not just a shelter or outpost." On the 3rd day of exploration, they found something that changed everything. Joe was mapping a side passage when his scanner detected a massive open space ahead. "Guys, you need to see this," he called over the communicator, his voice strange. When Lily and Sam caught up, Joe was standing at the entrance to an enormous chamber. Their lights couldn't reach the far wall or ceiling. "What is this place?" Sam asked. Lily aimed her strongest light forward and gasped. The beam illuminated the closest of hundreds, maybe thousands, of large objects arranged in neat rows. They were sleek, metallic, and unmistakable in their purpose. "Those are ships," she whispered. "Spacecraft." As they moved closer, they could see that the vessels were unlike any current design used by the known species of the galaxy. They were elegant but clearly built for functionality, with no decorative elements common to Verderi or Xanthan craft. "These look old," Joe said, scanning one of the smaller ships. "Really old." Sam checked his readings. The metal composition dates these at approximately 4,000 years. That's before most current civilizations achieved space travel. Lily stood in silence, staring at the ancient fleet stretching into the darkness. Someone had built these ships and this facility, then left them here, hidden away on this frozen world. "We need to find out who they were," she said finally, "and why they left all this behind." The awakening. 3 months had passed since Lily's team discovered the ancient hangar. Their small camp had grown into a proper research base with modest support from the Galactic Archaeological Society. After sending more convincing evidence, even Dr. Williams had reluctantly approved a small grant. "Amazing how quickly they changed their minds," Joe said as he sorted through new equipment. "Money talks," Lily replied. "They still think we'll find evidence of some known species, but at least we have help now." Carol Hayes, the engineer who joined their team last month, was trying to understand the facility's power systems. She was patient and methodical, working through each section of the vast complex. "These circuits are unlike anything I've seen before," Carol said, examining a panel near what they now believed was the command center. "But the basic principles are similar to early fusion tech." Sam handed her a tool. "Can you get any of it working?" "Maybe. The preservation in this place is remarkable. It's like someone put everything in perfect stasis before leaving." That evening, while most of the team slept, Carol made a breakthrough. She managed to connect their generators to what appeared to be the facility's main power grid. Lights that had been dark for thousands of years flickered on throughout the complex. Lily was awakened by Joe shaking her shoulder. "You need to see this." Carol got some systems online. When they reached the command center, Carol was standing frozen in front of a glowing console. Above it, in the air, hovered a blue light shaped roughly like a human. "It just appeared when the power stabilized," Carol whispered. The light pulsed gently. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke. "Systems reinitializing. Temporal displacement detected. Requesting verification of access protocols." The voice was flat but clearly understandable. "Is that English?" Sam asked. Lily stepped forward. "Hello. Can you understand us?" The light flickered. Language analysis complete. Modern English derivative detected. Adapting communication protocols. "What are you?" Lily asked. "I am Navigation Officer 378, Artificial Intelligence Support System for Humanity's Last Fleet." The team exchanged shocked glances. "Humanity's Last Fleet." Lily repeated. "You mean humans built this?" "Affirmative. This installation houses Fleet Section 12B, containing 317 vessels of classes ranging from personal transports to colony ships. Construction completed in Earth year 2389. Joe sat down hard on a nearby chair. "That's impossible. According to galactic history, humans barely achieved interstellar travel before joining the Federation. They never had this kind of technology." "Your historical records are incomplete," the AI stated. "The fleet was constructed in secret over a period of 53 years as Earth faced extinction-level threats." Lily tried to process this information. In current times, humans were a minor species, scattered across various worlds, but never in large numbers. They held little power in galactic politics and were often viewed as late arrivals to the interstellar community. "Can you show us more?" she asked. The hologram expanded, displaying images of Earth as it once was, then showing massive construction facilities orbiting the planet. The scale was staggering. "Why has no one known about this?" Sam asked. The fleet was deliberately hidden from historical records. It was designed as humanity's contingency plan, to be rediscovered only if necessary. Carol pointed to the ships they had found. "Are there people on those vessels?" "Affirmative. Stasis systems remain functional. Each colony ship contains between 10,000 and 50,000 humans in suspended animation." Silence fell over the room as the implications became clear. This wasn't just an archaeological find. It was potentially millions of humans, preserved from Earth's ancient past. The moment was interrupted by a loud alarm from their communication system. Joe checked the message and looked up with concern. A Federation military vessel just entered orbit. They're demanding we cease all activities immediately. The AI's light pulsed faster. Warning. External forces detected. Security protocols initiating. Lily looked at her team, then back at the hologram. Why would they come now? Unless someone already knew this was here, Sam finished, and didn't want it found. We need more time, Lily said, watching the monitors as a Federation shuttle descended toward their base. There's too much we don't know yet. The AI's blue form hovered steadily. I can provide historical context while you prepare for your visitors. Please do, Sam said, while Carol worked frantically to download data from the ancient systems. 4,000 years ago, Earth faced multiple catastrophes, the AI began. Climate collapse, asteroid impacts, and biological warfare had made the planet increasingly uninhabitable. The public narrative was that humans would relocate to nearby star systems. Images appeared showing massive evacuation efforts on a blue-green planet. However, a consortium of scientists and leaders created a secret plan. They believed that settling too close to Earth would leave humanity vulnerable to the same threats. They created this fleet to travel far beyond known space. Joe looked up from where he was gathering equipment. But our history says humans only ventured a few light years from Earth before meeting other civilizations. A smaller public evacuation did occur as recorded in your history, but the majority of Earth's population and resources went into this fleet. Over 30 million humans were placed in stasis, along with genetic samples of Earth's biodiversity. 30 million. Carol gasped. That's more than the entire human population in the galaxy today. The AI continued. The fleet was separated into sections and hidden across different regions of space. This facility contains only a fraction of the total. Lily tried to understand. But why hide it? Why not tell later generations? The fleet was designed as a failsafe. If humanity's known colonies failed, these hidden populations could restart civilization without alerting potential threats. The plan included deliberate historical misdirection. Sam shook his head in disbelief. So everything we know about human history is wrong. Not wrong. Incomplete, the AI corrected. The technology contained in this fleet was far beyond what other species possessed at that time. It was deemed too dangerous to be widely known. A loud banging interrupted them as someone pounded on the main entrance to the facility. Federation forces have arrived, the AI announced unnecessarily. Can you hide yourself? Lily asked quickly. Affirmative. But I have already transferred a data core to your portable system. It contains essential information. A hologram flickered and disappeared just as the doors slid open. Commander Ryan Garcia entered with 6 armed officers. His uniform bore the insignia of Federation Special Operations. Dr. Dawson, he said coolly, your expedition is now under Federation jurisdiction. On what grounds? Lily demanded, subtly sliding the data core into her pocket. Interstellar Security Code 12A. This site contains technology that poses a potential threat to galactic stability. Joe stepped forward. This is an archaeological site, not a weapons cache. Commander Garcia ignored him, scanning the room with narrowed eyes. You've activated systems. What have you learned? Not much, Lily lied. We just got basic power working. Garcia nodded to his officers, who began placing sensors around the command center. We have reason to believe this site is connected to restricted historical events. All findings are now classified. Restricted historical events. Sam repeated. You mean you already knew about this place? The commander's expression hardened. What I know is not your concern. Your team will be escorted back to your base to collect your belongings. You'll leave this planet immediately. Carol stepped close to Lily, whispering. They're trying to cover this up. Why? Lily watched as Federation officers began systematically securing the facility. Their efficiency suggested this wasn't the first such site they had shut down. The current powers of the galaxy, she whispered back, would be very threatened by evidence that humans once possessed technology this advanced. Garcia turned sharply. No private conversations. Prepare to move out." As they were escorted from the command center, Lily glanced back at the hangar containing hundreds of ancient ships. Something told her this wasn't just about technology or history. Those ships contained millions of humans in stasis, people who had no idea how their species had been marginalized in the centuries since they slept. This wasn't just an archaeological discovery. It was a powder keg that could rewrite the balance of power in the entire galaxy. "Move faster," Joe hissed as they slipped through the maintenance tunnels beneath their base camp. They had precious little time before Commander Garcia realized they weren't packing their belongings as ordered. Lily clutched the data core in her jacket pocket. "We need to get off planet before they lock down all departures." The team had split up to improve their chances. Sam was creating a diversion by accidentally starting a small fire in the research lab, while Lily, Joe, and Carol made their escape. "If we reach the auxiliary landing pad, we might find a transport," Carol whispered, consulting a small map on her device. They emerged from the tunnels into the biting cold of Proxima Vi's permanent winter. The three researchers huddled against the wind, moving as quickly as they could through the snow toward a small collection of buildings at the edge of the research zone. "There," Joe pointed to a battered cargo shuttle. "Maintenance crew uses that for supply runs." As they approached, a figure stepped out from behind the shuttle, causing them to freeze in their tracks. Instead of a Federation uniform, however, the person wore the distinctive jacket of a civilian pilot. "You look like you're in a hurry," said the woman, her breath visible in the cold air. "And I'm guessing those Federation ships aren't here for a friendly visit." Lily tensed. "Who are you?" "Kate Foster, independent courier. I was dropping off equipment when the military showed up." She gestured to her shuttle. "I'm guessing you need a ride." "How do we know we can trust you?" Carol asked suspiciously. Kate shrugged. "You don't. But in about 5 minutes, that Federation commander is going to lock down every vessel on this rock. So decide quickly." A distant alarm began to wail. Their diversion had been discovered. "We'll take that ride," Lily decided. Once aboard Kate's ship, a surprisingly well-maintained freighter called the Wayward, they explained their situation while Kate expertly navigated through Proxima Vi's atmosphere. "So you found ancient human ships and got kicked out by the Federation," Kate summarized. "That's actually not as uncommon as you might think." "What do you mean?" Joe asked. Kate's fingers danced across the controls as a Federation patrol ship appeared on their sensors. "Let's shake our tail first, then we'll talk." What followed was a tense hour as Kate piloted the ship through an asteroid field at speeds that made Carol grab for a sickness bag. Eventually, they emerged into open space with no pursuers in sight. "I used to run supplies for a xenorchaeologist named Dr. Perry," Kate explained once they were safely away. 3 years ago, he found ruins on Epsilon Eridani that he thought were of human origin. Next thing I know, Federation security seized everything, and Perry disappeared." "Disappeared," Lily echoed. "Official story was he had a shuttle accident. Very convenient." Lily took out the data core. "So the Federation is actively suppressing evidence of advanced human technology." "It's not just the Federation," Kate said grimly. "Most of the major species aren't interested in humans claiming any significant historical role." "Why?" asked Carol. "Politics. Power. The usual." Kate set the ship on autopilot. "Current galactic civilization is built on the idea that humans are newcomers who needed help from more advanced species. Evidence that humans once had superior technology threatens that narrative." Joe frowned. "That's why the AI said the fleet was deliberately hidden." Over the next few days, as they jumped between remote star systems to avoid pursuit, they studied the data core. It contained partial maps to other fleet facilities and fragmentary historical records. "According to this, there are at least 7 other installations like the one we found," Lily said, examining the data, "all containing ships, technology, and humans in stasis." "The Federation knows about these places," Kate added. "That's why they showed up so quickly after you activated the systems." A message alert flashed on Kate's console. She checked it and grimaced. Bad news, Carol asked. The worst kind. There's a galaxy-wide alert out for your arrest. The charges are theft of Federation property and espionage. Espionage, Joe exclaimed. We're archaeologists. Kate gave them a serious look. Not anymore. Now you're revolutionaries with information that could upend the power structure of the entire galaxy. Lily stared at the star map showing the hidden fleet locations. We need allies. People who will help us expose the truth. I might know some folks, Kate said cautiously. But I should warn you, once you start pulling on this thread, there's no going back. Kate's ship docked at a space station hidden in the rings of a gas giant. This place wasn't on any official maps. The station looked like it had been cobbled together from salvaged parts of different ships and structures. Welcome to Sanctuary, Kate said as they walked through dim corridors. Not pretty, but the Federation doesn't know it exists. People of various species moved through the station, many giving their group curious glances. Lily noticed something unusual. There were more humans here than she typically saw in one place. The humans here seem different, Carol whispered. More confident. Kate nodded. That's because they know their true history. She led them to a meeting room where a tall man with dark skin and gray-streaked hair waited. His eyes widened when he saw Lily. You actually found them, he said, stepping forward. I'm John Wells. I'd spent 20 years searching for proof of the fleet. After introductions, John examined the data core. His hands trembled slightly as he connected it to his systems. My grandfather told me stories, he explained, about how humans once built ships that could cross galaxies. Everyone thought he was just making up tales. Lily described what they had found on Proxima VI. The Federation confiscated everything. But they don't know we have this data. They've been suppressing this information for centuries, John said. Humans are kept scattered across dozens of worlds, never allowed to form large communities. Our history has been systematically erased. But why? Joe asked. What are they afraid of? John displayed information from the data core on a large screen. This is why. The technology in those ships is still advanced by today's standards. Faster than light travel without needing jump gates. Energy systems that don't require rare elements. Carol studied the technical specifications. This would make whoever controls it completely independent of Federation resources. Exactly, John agreed. The current power structure depends on controlling access to certain technologies. If humans suddenly had self-sufficient colony ships and advanced weapons. He didn't need to finish the thought. Over the next few days, more people joined their discussions. There was Maya Ellis, a historian who had been fired from her university for questioning the official human history. Ben Ward, a pilot who had encountered Federation cover-ups. Zoe Clark, a computer specialist who could break almost any security system. There were also non-humans. A Centaurian trader named Krill who had witnessed Federation troops seizing ancient artifacts. 2 Procyon scientists who had faced censorship when their research suggested humans had developed early interstellar travel. We're not alone in wanting the truth revealed, John explained. There are members of every species who believe history should not be manipulated. Lily addressed the growing group. What we found isn't just historical curiosity. There are millions of humans in stasis in those ships. People who have been asleep for 4,000 years. Our ancestors, someone murmured. If we could wake even one of those ships, John said, it would provide irrefutable proof. And start a war, Kate pointed out. The Federation won't just accept this revelation. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. Sam, who had been quiet during most discussions, finally spoke up. This isn't just about humans. If what the AI told us is true, those ships also contain genetic samples of thousands of extinct Earth species, scientific treasures beyond price. We need a plan, Lily said. We can't fight the Federation directly. John nodded. We've been building a network of supporters for years. People who question the official narrative. With this evidence, we can finally act. He displayed a map of the galaxy, highlighting several points. These are locations where we found fragments of ancient human technology, always quickly confiscated. But with your data, we know where to look for intact installations. You want to go back? Carol asked, surprised. Not to Proxima VI, John clarified. To one of the other sites, one the Federation doesn't have under such heavy guard. Zoe stepped forward. I can create a data packet with everything we know. Spread it across every communication channel in the galaxy. Not yet, Lily cautioned. Without physical proof, it would be dismissed as a hoax. John looked at each person in the room. What we're discussing is dangerous. The Federation will call it treason. Everyone should decide for themselves if they're willing to take that risk. No one left. Kate smiled grimly. Looks like we have our alliance. Now we just need to steal back a 4,000-year-old fleet from the most powerful military force in the galaxy. No pressure, Joe muttered. The small fleet of 5 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Rigel system. From this distance, the ice planet Rigel VI appeared as a tiny blue dot. Federation presence, Lily asked, standing on the bridge of Kate's ship. Zoe checked the sensors. 2 patrol ships in orbit. Standard security for a restricted site. According to the data core, Rigel VI contained another installation of humanity's last fleet, one that hadn't been fully secured by Federation forces yet. Their plan had taken weeks to prepare. John's network had provided ships, weapons, and most importantly, a distraction. On the other side of the sector, their allies were staging what would appear to be a smuggler's run gone wrong, drawing Federation attention away. Time to see if our intel is correct, Kate said, guiding the ship toward the planet's dark side. Their small fleet stayed in tight formation, using the planet's magnetic field to mask their approach. Lily felt her heart pounding as they entered the atmosphere. Everything depended on speed and surprise. The ships landed 3 kilometers from the suspected facility location, nestled in a mountain range. Snow swirled around them as the teams disembarked, everyone dressed in white thermal gear. Ground teams in position, John reported over the comm. No sign of heavy Federation presence. They moved across the frozen landscape in groups of 4. Sam and Carol led teams carrying scientific equipment, while Kate and Ben's groups provided security. Lily and Joe stayed with John, carrying the data core that would hopefully interface with this installation's systems. There, Joe pointed to a rock formation that looked suspiciously regular, just like on Proxima VI. John consulted his scanner. Metal content matches. This is it. Unlike the entrance they'd found months ago, this one showed signs of recent activity. Federation survey markers dotted the area, and a small temporary shelter had been erected nearby. They've started preliminary work, but haven't fully breached the main facility, John whispered. We have a narrow window. Zoe's team moved forward, using technology derived from the data core to locate the entrance mechanism. Within minutes, they had bypassed the Federation security and accessed the original door controls. With a deep rumbling sound, a section of the mountainside slid open, revealing a dark corridor. Federation security will detect that, Kate warned. We have maybe 30 minutes before reinforcements arrive. They moved quickly through the facility, which was laid out similarly to the one on Proxima VI. This time, they knew exactly where to go. The central command room was located deep inside the mountain. When they reached it, Carol immediately began connecting their equipment to the ancient systems. The room was dark except for their lights, undisturbed for thousands of years. Power systems are intact, she reported. Initiating startup sequence. The room hummed to life, lights flickering on as systems awakened from their long dormancy. A familiar blue hologram appeared, similar to the AI they had encountered before. This is Security Officer 429. Facility breach detected. Identify yourselves. Lily stepped forward, inserting the data core into a slot on the main console. We are humans from the current era. We have data from Navigation Officer 378 from Facility 12B. The hologram flickered as it processed this information. Data authenticated. You have returned earlier than projected. Threat assessment required. The fleet's existence has been hidden from most humans, John explained quickly. Current galactic powers are suppressing our history. This aligns with contingency scenarios. The AI responded. Full activation protocols initiated. Throughout the facility, systems began powering up. The mountain itself seemed to vibrate with awakening machinery. Federation ships launching from orbit. Zoe warned through the comm. Multiple vessels inbound. How long until they reach us? Lily asked. 15 minutes, maybe less. The AI expanded its hologram, showing the entire facility layout. Defensive systems are operational. However, complete reactivation of the fleet requires additional time. We don't have time, Kate said. We need something now to show the galaxy what's here. Initiating emergency protocol, the AI announced. Preparing demonstration vessel for launch. The mountain shook more violently as something massive began to move. On their comm screens, they watched as Federation ships entered the atmosphere. A full battle group now responding to their intrusion. They're deploying ground forces, Ben reported from his position outside. Heavy weapons. They're not taking chances this time. Carol looked up from her console. The AI is bringing a ship online, one of the smaller vessels. It's preparing launch systems. The ancient ship rose from the mountain like a creature awakening from hibernation. Its hull gleamed despite its age. Smooth curves unlike the angular designs of modern vessels. Federation ships circled cautiously, weapons trained on it, but not firing after seeing what happened to their companions. They're afraid, Kate said, watching from the command center view screen. They don't know what it's capable of. The AI's hologram expanded, displaying information about the activated vessel. Scout ship Pathfinder prepared for demonstration sequence. Weapons systems disabled to prevent escalation. Lily watched in awe as the ship hovered above the mountain. Can we communicate with it? The vessel is under my control, the AI responded. What message do you wish to convey? Before Lily could answer, a transmission from the Federation flagship cut through their communications. This is Admiral Warren of the Galactic Federation. You are in possession of restricted technology. Power down all systems immediately or face destruction. John stepped forward. They're bluffing. They won't destroy something this valuable. They might destroy us to keep the secret, though, Carol pointed out. Lily made a decision. We need to show everyone what's here, not just the ships, but the truth about human history. She turned to Zoe. Can you broadcast across all frequencies, to the entire sector? Zoe nodded. The facility has powerful communication arrays. I can send whatever you want to every inhabited system within 50 light years. Do it, Lily said, and connect me to the broadcast. As Zoe worked, more Federation ships arrived, forming a blockade around the planet. Their situation was growing more desperate by the minute. Broadcast ready, Zoe announced. You're live to half the galaxy, Dr. Dawson. Lily took a deep breath and began speaking. My name is Dr. Lily Dawson. I am broadcasting from an ancient facility on HFY. What you are seeing is not a hoax or simulation. The camera drones they had brought showed the massive hangar with hundreds of ships, then panned to the vessel hovering above the mountain. 4,000 years ago, humanity built this fleet, not for war or conquest, but for survival. Earth was dying, and our ancestors created these ships to preserve not just human life, but all life from our homeworld. The AI provided visuals from its database, showing the construction of the fleet, the loading of stasis chambers with millions of people, the careful preservation of plant and animal genetic material. For centuries, the truth has been hidden. Humans have been told we were a minor species who needed help to reach the stars. But these ships prove otherwise. Our ancestors achieved what many thought impossible. Aboard the ancient scout ship, systems continued to activate. Markings along its hull began to glow with soft blue light, revealing symbols that had been invisible before. Sam's voice came urgently over the comm. "Lily, you need to see this. The ship is displaying something." The camera drones captured it, patterns of light-forming symbols along the hull. Symbols that looked strangely familiar. "The AI is translating," Carol said, reading from her screen. "These are root languages, the foundation of modern galactic communication." John's eyes widened in realization. These aren't just random markings. They're the origin points of all current galactic writing systems. The AI confirmed this. Human language formed the basis for interspecies communication during the early colonial period. This knowledge was systematically removed from historical records over centuries. Lily continued her broadcast. "What you're seeing suggests something profound. The humans didn't just build an advanced fleet. We may have been the precursors who helped establish the foundation of galactic civilization itself." The Federation ships had stopped advancing. On their communication channels, confused chatter could be heard as officers and crews tried to process what they were seeing. Admiral Warren's voice came through again, less certain now. "Dr. Dawson, you don't understand the consequences of what you're doing." "I understand perfectly," Lily replied. "You've hidden the truth because it threatens the current power structure. But these aren't weapons we're revealing. They're our shared history." The ancient ship began a slow circuit above the planet, visible to everyone watching. More symbols appeared on its hull, each one corresponding to a different modern language. Inside the facility, the AI activated more systems. Stasis pods began their revival sequences, preparing to awaken the first of the ancient humans. "The fleet was never meant to remain hidden forever," the AI explained. "It was designed to re-emerge when humanity needed its past most." Federation ground forces had reached the facility entrance but stopped, unwilling to attack with the entire galaxy watching.